Hey, everybody, welcome to Invisible Condition. It's not all in your head. I'm your host, Jeff Pearson, and we want everybody with an invisible condition, no matter what that condition is, to know beyond the shadow of a doubt that you do have a voice, you have a community, and you are never alone. Now, here on Invisible Condition, we get it. Having an invisible condition, having a condition that's not invisible, let's be real. Having any kind of condition can be rough, okay? I get it. Here's the thing though, there's always hope. There's always hope. No matter what your day is like, no matter what your year has been like, there's always hope. So I want you to email me if you are not convinced. If you're not sure, you're like, you know what, Jeff? Yeah, no, my hope is gone and I don't know where it went. I want to help you. Please email me and just put the word hope in the subject line. I'll reply back to you. We can go back and forth on email. We could go on Zoom and talk, whatever. It's that big a deal. I don't want you to be without hope because that leads to terrible things. So everybody should be with hope. So let me know. All right. I have a couple things I want to tell you. First, welcome to season 8, everybody. I know we've had a couple episodes already. But Michelle Cooling is back today. And this is our first episode with her in season 8. So welcome to season 8, Michelle. And welcome to you if you have not been here and you said, wait, season 8 already? Yes, here we are. So just a couple things. I have a new sponsor this season, and I'm so excited. And so the cool thing is, it's somebody that I know from a group, and it's so awesome. One of the companies the company that he works for I shouldn't say works for. The company he represents is Cutco. So Simple Gifting Solutions is Jake Ellis's company, and he represents Cutco. And I am so excited about this partnership, and I'll tell you why. Because my parents, who they have a set of Cutco steak knives, and they bought them in 1981. I was born in 1977. They bought these in 1981, and they still have them, and they're still amazing. Every time I go to their house, there they are in the kitchen drawer all the time. So amazing cutlery. I know it can be elusive. I know you all have a drawer full of all those knives that are terrible. I do too. Here's the thing though, you don't have to. Amazing cutlery is not that far away. And you know what? If you have a company or you have a business and you want to give your clients or your customers amazing gifts, man, Jake and Cutco have amazing ways to do that, where they can actually put your logo on the blade of the knife. Mine is on the way, or I would show you. And so it's really cool. So you could gift that to somebody. That, like, talk about a useful gift, right? I've gotten gifts from, realtors and different things over the years that I don't even know where they are because they weren't useful. This is the most useful, amazing gift. And the coolest part, this is the best part. Every purchase you make through Jake and Cutco, if you go through this QR code, a portion of the proceeds will support Hydro with Hope. How awesome is that? You can't get better than that. So please scan the QR code, check out what they have available. It is insane. There's so many cool things. I can't wait to fill my kitchen full of all of this. So, all right, that is all I wanted to say about that. Please scan the QR code and check that out. Also, our studio sponsor is NRG, Network Referral Group. And for those of you that have heard me talk about it, I love this group. I'm a lifetime member. If you want a source of never-ending referrals, this is your place. Mike is the man. He runs it, and he runs 30 Zoom calls a week. I know. I don't think he sleeps. But that's okay because he's awesome, and he runs amazing groups. And if you are looking for a source of never-ending referrals, this is the purest form of networking I've ever seen. This is the place you want to be, okay? I promise, especially as a business owner. Now, The last thing I want to talk to you is our about is our nonprofit, which is tied to Cutco, like I said before, which is amazing. So if you want to go that route to donate to us, that's awesome. You would have an amazing benefit in having some incredible cutlery in your kitchen. If you just feel like you want to donate to us, that's cool too. This link will allow you to do that. And we are helping families that are living with this crazy condition called hydrocephalus. And so every little bit helps. Every dollar helps. I can get more journals into the hands of people that need them. We published a journal called My Hydro Warrior Story that walks people through that crazy experience of brain surgery. And it is a crazy experience. I've had 7 of them. It's crazy. So there should never be a lack of hope. And so that's why we called it Hydro with Hope. And so if you want to help us spread the hope, donate at this link. You can donate monthly or one time. We love you either way. All right, let's bring Michelle on here. For those of you that don't know Michelle, she works with a company called Chronic Illness Solution, which is awesome. And it is just about an hour south of me in Colorado Springs. Michelle, welcome. Thank you for being here. This is awesome. Welcome to season 8. Uh-oh.
Yay, glad we both made it.
Glad we both made it and we can hear everybody. This is awesome. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Well, I'm happy to give a short intro in case anybody's new.
Yeah.
I have longer intros and I share my whole story when we first started.
If you go to season 2, episode 52, the last episode of season 2, you can hear the whole story and it's amazing. So,
Cool. Thank you so much, Jeff. So long story short, I had ongoing issues. Doctor specialist didn't know what was wrong. So I was a mystery through functional medicine and other alternatives and finding how to test for things that regular doctors don't test for and these kinds of things. We discovered that I had an autoimmune disease, a genetic disorder, severe allergies, heavy metal poisoning, like all sorts of different things. And those are supposed to be medically permanent. I had a lot of other things going on. I had experienced trauma, but didn't know how that was connected or how that was even still unresolved for me. And so by trying to address all of this, I ended up with a lifestyle that was very restricted. And I was spending tons of money on supplements and chiropractors and different tools, modalities, and techniques. I once started writing a list of all the things I had tried and done and was doing, and it was over 100 things. So I stopped writing it. Like, well, I get the point. I'm not going to keep going because there's still more. So it's not just like, oh, I tried a dozen things, it's like, no, we searched. I was bedridden for a couple of years. It got to a very serious, scary point. So we were very motivated, me and my family, to figure things out. But the restricted lifestyle and the ongoing symptoms really wasn't a way to live. And so I really started realizing, I am just managing symptoms. And at that point, even a functional medicine doctor had told me that best you're going to get, manage symptoms.
Yikes.
There's nothing else for you here. This is permanent. So, but I didn't give up. I had faith, which will be a topic of today. And I started learning to take every thought captive. And that will be a topic of today. Mm-hmm. And it allowed me to see the steps forward that I needed to see and the right people to work with that I needed to work with and the right, things to learn about that I needed to learn about. And I found a body of work around nervous system regulation and how to get my body out of a state of survival mode and fear and into a state of the parasympathetic nervous system where it heals itself, self-repairing abilities are turned on. Our body's in a constant state of optimal function. Our cells are fully functioning. They're not trying to survive. And that changed everything. Within months of beginning that journey, I was already eating gluten again and dairy again. My autoimmune disease doesn't show up in my lab tests anymore. My genetic disorder doesn't show up in my lab tests anymore, which is unheard of. And I don't have chemical sensitivities. And so I'm not living the sick lifestyle to be healthy. I have metabolic flexibility. My body can handle a lot. And I'm not having to micromanage that because my body has the resilience capacity
Love it.
And my traumas were healed in the process, and lots of inner healing and spiritual growth too. But that's the simplest way to state it, is that's what I did. So now that's what I teach, and the work has continued to grow and expand and address other areas of life, not just health, but also, parenting and healthy conscious relationships, and how to manage finances with integrity, and these other areas of life too. So that's what we do, is spiritually counsel people and mentor them in how to do things in accordance with God's highest way.
And is that, I love that. And is that what, is that what, is that this? That's
Yes, so
so
that's
beautiful.
Enduring Hope
Okay.
Foundation. Yep, nonprofit. So we also provide donation-based options for people. So there's really nothing missing or to lose. Everybody can have access to this work that needs it. And we do a bunch of cool things there as well, including like developing spiritual gifts, helping people find their purposes, and um, a lot of like deconditioning, and helping people with religious trauma. So we're
Oh,
not really religious. It's very much about love and the relationship, and
yeah.
being healed and restored. So,
Amazing.
yeah,
So yeah, so this, I mean, so does this QR code go to the same place as the other one? I
I
just don't
believe
know.
so.
Okay, I don't remember, so I'm trying to remember, but I just didn't know if it made a difference which one we left on the screen.
That's okay. Either one's
So
fine.
yeah, okay, perfect. All right, what are we talking about today? Let's dive
Yep.
in, man.
We're going to talk about mustard seeds.
Uh,
The faith of a mustard seed can move mountains. And so mustard seeds are so small. I don't know if you guys have seen them, but they're smaller than sesame
oh,
seeds.
they're tiny.
They're
Yeah.
very tiny. They're smaller than quinoa, which
Mhm.
looks like quinoa for those who don't know how to say it.
I know English is so weird.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Quinoa.
I know.
Anyway, with the faith of a mustard seed, we can move mountains. This is in the Bible. And, Jesus said that we would do even greater works than he did, which is in the Bible. So that's pretty remarkable if you think about it.
Yeah,
And, he did very miraculous things,
yeah,
not just
really.
spiritually, but physically in
Mhm.
this world, defied the laws of nature because he's the author of nature. And so with this, there's another scripture that came to mind to share today, which is to take every thought captive into obedience to Christ. And so these concepts we want to spend some more time on. We've been building these concepts over time. So if you go back and kind of watch our videos, you'll get a lot of depth. And this one we're just narrowing in on today because it's super important. And I feel it's where most people are getting hung up and being able to actually do what we're saying. What we're saying to do is very simple, but there's mental blocks mostly around it. So we're going to reframe the mental block as faith. Faith is needed, and just the faith of a mustard seed.
Yeah.
That's it. Just a itty bitty little tiny little spark of faith is all that's needed. And the Bible talks a lot about believing as well, believing in me, in God, and believing his words, and taking his words and putting them in our heart so that we might not sin. Sin is a charged word, so let me just say, so that we might not be living in lower consciousness, egoic nonsense,
Right.
survival, reactionary nonsense, right?
Yeah.
So, um, so that's what's needed. So we're going to talk about that. I would like to paint a picture,
Mhm.
parable or an analogy that might be easier to relate to. So oftentimes, I'm finding this analogy helpful in describing concepts. So if there's a patient that's sick in a
Mhm.
hospital, imagine that they actually have sepsis. So that's a systemic infection, and it can get very serious, including to the point of going into septic shock. Okay.
Mhm.
So if we say this patient is in septic shock, what that means is that the infection is taking over everything. So the life is at stake.
Yeah.
Well, when there's high stakes situations, that calls for high stakes attention and care. If the patient thinks that they have a cold or flu, they're not going to respond in the way that is appropriate for the situation of septic shock, right? Or
Right.
sepsis.
Hopefully not.
A, we got to know where we're at to get the proper care, the proper treatment, and the proper attention. B, God, Jesus, is the surgeon, so we're in good hands. So there's nothing to worry about. He's got it all under control. All we have to do is what he says. Piece of cake. That's what he keeps saying. Well, that was easy. Piece of cake. No big deal. No worries. I've got this. I already
Yeah.
said it works. I've already won, right?
Yep.
Okay, so there's this patient in septic shock. The treatment for septic shock includes a few things. One, antibiotics,
Mhm.
right? Some generic anti-infection thing that's just generic, covers the basics, gets started on treatment. Later, we can test for the specifics and we can give specific anti-infection or antivirals to that specific kind of infection. But we start anti-infection medicine right away to cover all the basics that could possibly be needing covered. So the second thing we do is when it's a case of septic shock, we give steroids. And we give steroids to help strengthen the body to take over itself. So think about this. Yeah, if you're having medicine that's getting rid of the infection, it's going to feel like it's working for a while. But if you don't actually strengthen the body and the cells and the body's own immune system,
Yep.
then the infection's just going to come back as soon as you stop taking the medicine. So
Yep.
we want the medicine. That's very helpful and corrective, but you're not going to be on it forever. Healthy people
Right.
don't take the medicine
No,
forever.
you don't want to be on that forever. That's
Right. But you still need to have it in case there's any like infection that comes. So
Yep.
medicine, steroids. Another way that steroids work in the case of septic shock is that um, the body's inflammatory response and immune response is way overactive.
Ah.
So it's trying kind of and failing to get rid of the infection because the infection has gotten so bad and so deeply embedded and everywhere. So the problem with an overreaction, which is why we're going to talk about taking every thought captive, is because the overreactions are also injuring organs and tissues. So we want a balanced response, a balanced immune system to not be able to cause damage to our own body because we're already having a hard enough time. So the antibiotics address the infection, that's corrective. The steroids are about calming everything down into a place of non-reactivity. Because that's what's needed to allow the body's own immune system and own body to be stronger so that it can start taking over. But if we're overreactive, we're just going to cause more damage, and the amount of inflammation is going to just kind of everything. So, and that doesn't help us get out of septic shock. That causes us to be more at risk. So, one, corrective medicine. Two, calming everything down. So the thing that calms everything down in our minds and bodies is actually love, and our nervous systems is love and receiving the love. So the correction is anything that is toxic or unhealthy or from a survival based pattern or from an egoic place that we are getting rid of, we are addressing it, we're interrupting it, we're telling it to go. But without receiving love genuinely and feeling that, we can tend to stay in a reactive space, even about the medicine. So these are two things. And then the third one is that God is attempting a transfusion.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to get the immune system balanced and regulated and non reactive so that when he is doing a full on transfusion to this patient, there's not going to be a rejection of his
Right.
blood transfusion.
Yeah.
So we are able to receive his blood as us instead of have a reaction to the blood and reject the transfusion, which can happen when our immune systems are overreactive. Okay, so these three pieces are like what we're currently working on in the patient. And without these three pieces, we won't have a successful transfusion because the body will just be so reactive. When we receive love and our nervous systems are regulated and we're in a state of calm, love, non-reactivity as much as possible. It doesn't have to be perfect, just as much as possible.
Right.
Where our bodies are already used to that love, that blood. And so then our bodies are able to receive, oh yeah, I know what this is, and this is safe to me. Because if we have been living in a state of survival, living in a state of safety is going to feel not safe, actually, because it's unknown to the mind. So the very medicine we need, we're rejecting because that's not what we've known. That's not what's familiar. And we're overreactive to everything. And we're already in septic shock. So it's very hard for the body to determine what is me, what is not me. There's more infection in me than there is human cells, living cells. So that's kind of the war that we have going on internally. Now, the medicine we've talked about in previous shows, that's anything that is not from love, that is not what Jesus would say to you, that is not the highest viewpoint, that comes from a lower place, like fear is a very common one. Shame is a very common one. Pride is a very common one. Anger, right? Also, there's a bunch of light and love, positive sounding ones, like, oh, I'm just going to be this loving, gracious person, or I'm just going to be at peace because I know everything's okay. So blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, that's not it. That's more distraction and more infection, actually. So the medicine is catching anything that goes through our minds, that comes out of our mouths, that is not from a place of genuine love and non-reactivity. And then addressing it head on, telling it to go. I don't choose you. I have choice. I have agency. I don't choose you. You don't get to speak through me. I'm not going to channel you. I'm not going to allow that spirit to be operating in me. Go. I choose the Holy Spirit, Jesus here. That's the spirit that animates me. That's who gets to speak through me. That's what I choose. Then step 2 is receiving love. That's like the corticosteroid. And that helps bring the non-reactivity, because when we are in the space of love, it casts out fear. Perfect love casts out fear. I've not given you a spirit of fear, but of power, love, sound mind. You're transformed by the renewing of your mind. Take every thought captive into obedience of Christ. So where we hear those all the time, and we all think they sound so great and motivational, but nobody's teaching us how to do it. We actually have
Right.
to do it. It's not a concept. It's not hyperbole. It's not symbolic. It is literal. So how can you take every thought captive unless if it's an actual thing entity? I mean, it's kind of interesting
Right.
to think about it
Yeah.
that way. So otherwise it captivates you, right? It's
Well,
captive. We are
it's
either
like
to sin or right.
taking my coffee captive. I'm taking it right now. I have a hold of it. Right. That's what people don't think about, that when it's out there, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. And
So,
then you choose what you consume. The words that come out are kind of like the words that we're allowing to come in. That's the stuff. It's the window into
yeah.
what's inside, right? So search my heart, O Lord. Out of the mouth, the heart speaks. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. That's why we start here. And we're going to talk more about thoughts, which come out of our mouth or stay in our heads, but we're going to talk about thoughts today. So let's the analogy of the patient makes sense, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
it does. Yeah. And can I just throw one thing out there real quick before you get
Mm-hmm.
started? Because it's something just popped into my head, and it's like, if, and this is what we were talking about before we started recording. We were talking about this, and I feel like that has been my, and probably a lot of other people would say this. I relate to this. If I know, it's like, I've always thought, well, why are we doing this, and how is it going to get done? Right? Like, I got to know how. What's the mechanics of this, and why is it happening, and what? But but to your what you said earlier, if you're going into the ER in septic shock and you're needing ABC to stay alive, which is what you're doing spiritually here, right? You're Then who cares where it came from or why?
Right.
We'll figure that out later, maybe, if we need to, but right now we need you to do the protocol that we're telling you to do, or you will be gone.
Yes.
And
That,
so
yes.
how and why don't matter when you're confronted with this.
Yes.
So
So true.
yeah,
Exactly. That is what we're saying. Quite literally. That's it.
which
And
is
when
what I struggle with a lot over the last few months is the how and the why.
yep.
But that kind of that was good. That was helpful.
Yes.
I wrote
Well, and
that
if you
down.
think about it, that's the infection growing. It's like
Yeah,
that's the thing that's like distracting, distorting,
yeah, yep.
taking up the attention, taking
Wait
up
a minute. What
space in
about
the
this? What
body.
about that? What about yeah? Exactly.
Right. And it's
Yeah.
like that's the infection seeping in. If I know that, okay, then I'm going to stay focused on receiving the medicine here, receiving the steroid here, and receiving the transfusion of his blood. Life is in the blood, his life here in me, his love.
Love it. Yep.
And that's what those three pieces are actually what bring the dead to life and preserve the ones who are alive. So that's what we're up to.
Yeah.
Very good. I love that because I was like going to go into the next thing and I was like, I can't say that yet. So thanks. You needed to add that wisdom. Okay. So the most simplest way to go about doing this, taking every thought captive, is with faith, but I want to reframe that. A lot of people are relating to having faith as either something they, of course, already have. So why are we discussing it? I have faith.
Yeah.
Or they're feeling like faith and having faith and getting more faith and choosing to believe this thing is this really hard task that I'm trying to do, but I haven't already done yet. And so if I could just do it, then it would be better. But I don't know why. Something's so wrong with me and I can't. I don't know why I'm not getting it. I mean, then it's like all of the things start talking, right?
It's like, how could it be this simple?
Yeah. And
Is
how
what
could
I've
it
said.
be this simple? Yep.
It can't be this simple. You can't just do this and it's done. Like it can't be
Right.
that simple, right?
Yeah.
But that again is the program of the mind saying,
Totally.
it's got to be more
Yes.
complicated. It can't, yeah,
I like the evil laugh. That's,
yeah,
yeah, that's
yeah.
good.
That's exactly what it is. Is yeah, exactly.
Totally.
Yeah,
Exactly. So, and it's like, well, Jesus died for us. Now we're saved. Can't be that simple. Really? Like,
people believe that all the time. People,
believe in me.
yeah, it can be, and it is. Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah,
So it's like, here's the faith piece. If Jesus said it, it's true.
yeah. And if
Period.
you believe, and if you are a believer, if you're not, we can help you with that. If you are, then this is it's just a retraining of your mind.
Right.
Is really
Yes.
all it is.
And
So
we have choice in that.
yes,
So when he says, let's think of one. When he says, I have placed my word on your heart,
hmm
then that's just true.
yeah,
It's not I who lives, but Christ in me. If like, then that's what's true. So becoming aware of my thoughts and my words is really the key. We've talked so much about this over years together here. With that awareness, I can then look at when the thought comes up, but how or but why? He in me, Holy Spirit can be like, is that what I'm saying? What's saying that? What's asking that
right,
question? Because if the question is not provided by God, love, highest, and the question is provided by lower conscious, ego, deception, the
right,
enemy, fear, both of these can provide the questions. It's our soul's right to be able to discern that clearly and then choose which one we allow to speak and move and breathe in us. I speak and move and have my being in him. He only did what the Father did. He only spoke as the Father
right.
spoke. This is follow me, right? Do as I follow my commandments, follow my words. You will do greater things than I. We are to be him here.
Well, and I know, and I know there are people watching this, and by the way, thank you wherever you are, thank you, and comment if you have questions. Like seriously, this is big stuff. So if you have, but but I know there's a big difference between simple and easy. So this is
Right.
very simple, but it's not always easy at first, right? Like
Right.
it takes work. It takes work to make it second nature.
Right. Well, and you
So
think about what's needed to get a person in septic shock back to the normal state of living. This
simple.
is this is what we're talking. It is
Yeah.
simple, but it takes something, and it takes care and a lot of support and
Yes.
a team, and nobody can do that on their own.
Right.
And we're not supposed to. It's like iron sharpens iron, where two or more are gathered together. There I am in the midst. Like, we need each other.
Right.
Um,
So if people are saying this is so hard, like I can't do. Yes, I get it. I'm there. I've been there. I'm still there sometimes. It's simple. It's not always easy. I get it. If you're on this road or you want to pursue this, just know, yes, it is simple. It's not always easy, but it can get that way.
yep,
So you'll get there. It's
totally.
just,
My
yeah.
experience through recovery from septic shock was
Yeah.
was that it was the hardest thing I've ever done. It's interesting
Yeah.
because now, like, and in him and in the highest and in love, I'm like, wow, this actually is easy. Why? Because it's just him animating. There's no deception, there's no fear, there's no whatever.
Yeah.
But the amount of choices I had to make, thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of choices
Yeah.
throughout the process. I had to heal tons of infection in every part of me, right?
Yeah.
um, to
Yeah.
recover and become a healthy person, not in a hospital bed. So,
Right.
and I'm still undergoing minor procedures here and there, right? Minor tweaks and minor
Right.
procedures. And he's like expanding me in a lot of ways. So the work, there's no arriving, but it's a different condition than being in septic shock, thank God, or being in a
Right.
coma, thank God, right? It's like,
Yeah.
now I'm awake, and now I'm working, and now I don't need all those antibiotics. And now I don't need the steroids as much. Like, it's like you get better. So then you just get to start building instead of recovering. So, um, so the biggest question is like, what is speaking and what do I choose to speak? Another good question. We had this when I was a kid, right? What WWJD, what would Jesus do? Right? They were on the
Yeah. Yeah.
bracelets and the
Oh
t-shirts and
yeah.
all that stuff. And there were songs about it. So anyway, that's actually pretty good. It's like, what would love do? What would love say? What would love think? What would
Yeah.
Jesus do? What would Jesus say? What would Jesus think? Is this the Holy Spirit or not? And so if there's something that comes up in my head that's like, maybe you're missing something. It's like, all these fear thoughts. Maybe you don't understand. Maybe you're not going to get it until you understand. Maybe it didn't work that time. Maybe blah, 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 right? All of
Yeah.
the things. And it doesn't feel like love or clarity or peace or calm
Right.
or truth or, like,
Sometimes it doesn't. Yeah.
right. So if
Yeah.
anything doesn't feel like love, it's not. Period. That's one of those take the thought captive. Like, make it really black and white. And a good one is like, well, what does Jesus say to me right now? If my brain is in questioning mode, because that's a deception tactic. Oh my gosh, I'm a huge intellect and nerd. So my intellect was one of the hardest and last things to let go of,
Yep.
because I intellectualized everything, and it only got me so far. And then I
That's the
had
how and the why, right?
right.
That's the how and the why. That's
Yes.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
if questions are coming up, it's like, well, what does Jesus say about that? Sometimes he'll say, don't worry about it. Don't think about that right now. That's not what I'm saying. Focus here. Focus on me. Just receive my love. Sometimes he'll answer the question. Sometimes he'll point out, do you see how you're feeling right now in the questioning state? And you're like, oh yeah, I feel really gross. I feel like confused and like desperate and like frantic, and I'm not going to get this, and blah, 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 blah. So here's the thing. Take every thought captive into obedience to Christ. It's the faith. It's actually showing us where our faith is lacking when we're not believing his words and we're entertaining something else that honestly makes no sense when you really look at it. It
Yeah.
makes sense inside of itself, but it thinks it makes sense, but it doesn't actually make sense in the context of God's truth. So if we have a foundation, a baseline, building our baseline of God's truth, of these black and white definitive things, that's a foundation that isn't going to wash away when the storm comes. It's like
Right.
building the house on the rock, not on the sand. When the waves come and the house is built on the sand, it washes away, it falls apart.
Hmm.
When it's built on a solid rock, a solid foundation, the waves can come, it's fine. So we are actually building our baseline. We're building a foundation of truth to stand on when our mind goes crazy, when our body is still in these fear patterns or these old patterns, and we're working through them through that process. It's take every thought captive and have faith. I choose what I believe. I'm either going to believe in love and the highest and what Jesus says and the Holy Spirit, and that's going to be my black and white truth that I'm standing on, or I'm going to entertain, allow, and even buy into these false and limiting beliefs and narratives and fears and doubts and insecurities. And for the people that this works for, it fundamentally does come down to belief. They believe in themselves. I will heal. This is a done deal. I'm doing it. I will get this. Why? Because Jesus says so, and I can, and that's my birthright. And even when I don't feel it, and even when I don't believe it, I know it. And I'm choosing to know it, even no matter how I feel. If I feel like I believe it or not, doesn't matter. That's a feeling. I am choosing to believe it, and I'm not entertaining anymore the thoughts that go against that.
And this body that God created for us is so cool because whether you're a believer in Jesus or not, whether you're a Christian or not, whatever your belief system is, the body is still this, when you say, you know, your body doesn't know the difference between reality and what you're thinking. So if you're constantly thinking negative, you're going to get negative. If you're constantly thinking positive, you're going to get positive. If
Right.
you, you know, and so that's a big part of it too. It's like it's such a cool design. It's like it can work. It's a double-edged sword. It can work against you too if you're not
Mm-hmm.
careful. But
Yes.
but what you're talking about here is just that. It's like if keep, take every thought captive so that you can tell your brain, yes, this is going to work. Yes, I'm on the right track. Yes, I'm healing. Right,
Yep.
and then that will only help
Yes.
with the whole process.
Yep. And then it's not just, we're not just positive thinking. I don't ignore reality to slap
No, no,
positive
no, no.
on it. But
Right.
if I genuinely believe I am healing and that is the process I am in, I start seeing the opportunities to make choices that are in accordance with that. So, like the individuals who have stuff coming up for them, and maybe it's a repetitive thought, like they've taken it thought captive 20 times yesterday, right? Or over the weekend. And it's like, this keeps popping up. Well, since I'm in a healing process, like, what do I do? Right? That's
Right.
consistent with healing. I reach out for support. I talk to my coaches. I talk to my, like, there's obviously something here that I'm not on my own getting through. There
Yeah.
needs to be a shift or an intervention. What is that? So when we take every thought captive, we're no longer in the thought loops that are speaking, and we're not in the automatic body state of our nervous system, autopilot.
Hmm.
We're actually out of that, and then we can actually engage into what is highest, like listen to the Holy Spirit. What do you need to do now? What does he want you to do? What actions can you take? What words is he saying? It's a lot of times he gives us encouraging words, but the majority of the time he gives us instructions.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just, oh, now you feel better. No, it's like, do this, take this action, ask for help here. Like, it's love lives in action, just like in a marriage. It's not words and it's not feelings. It's an action that love comes to life. So when
Yeah.
love is animating us, his love, his blood in us, we are taking the actions consistent with taking care of ourselves, healing, following his commandments.
Yep.
Um, so that's the key. But if we can actually realize, as the patient in septic shock, the medicine just isn't going to work. We actually have to choose for it to work. The steroid isn't just going to be received by the body has to choose to receive it. The transfusion isn't just going to magically happen while we just sit back and do nothing. We actually have choice. Like the body chooses whether it will heal, whether it will live. And those choices in the scenario live in our lives where we are in the moment, choosing to listen to the thought playing in our head or not, choosing to reach out for coaching support or not, choosing to eat for breakfast what's going to support us that day, or mindlessly do whatever else. Those are the choices where we're receiving the medicine, receiving the steroid, receiving the transfusion. So I think it's helping us know we actually have a choice of whether it works or not. And that's one of the biggest lies of deception, which is why it's like, yeah, take every thought captive and have faith. Hold those. Hold on. Because that's where that tactic is disarmed. That's where that infection, which is kind of like, it's like staph resistant bacteria, like antibiotic
Right.
resistant infection. That's so scary because then it's like now the antibiotics aren't even working. Well, guess what?
Yeah.
It's that bad. Just know it's that bad. So we have to choose as the body, capital B, to receive the medicine. To his word is life, right? Life and
Yeah.
death is in the power of the tongue. Literally, we are speaking life or death in our bodies at all times. So if we know this, we can cut off the death from spreading, and
Hmm.
we can bring in life as simple as speaking. So it's like another three word process he gave me once. He's like, this is so simple. He's like, all you have to do is listen, receive, and ground. It's like I'm listening, I'm receiving, and I'm grounding that in me, in my heart, in my body, in my brain, in every part of me. And a lot of the like soul surgeries that we find ourselves doing are on these little parts. So it's like, oh, now we're working over here. And there's some
Yeah.
infection deception over here. And now we're working over here. Good, that procedure is done. Now we're working over here because the infection's everywhere, right? It's spread everywhere. So we got to go through a process of getting that fleshed out in all the places.
Right.
Doesn't mean that this surgery didn't work. It just means I've never done this surgery before. That's why it's kind of like doing the same thing, but over here. It is the same thing, but it's over here.
And
Um,
that can be so discouraging sometimes, right? Because it's like you're just peeling back the next layer of the onion, and it's like, is this ever gonna stop?
right. Which is, then it's like, well, what does Jesus say? That's where you get that question. Well, what does Jesus say? You're
Yeah.
doing great. The procedures we've done before have worked. They're holding pretty well. Now
Yeah.
we're getting ready to go into a new area because your body's strong and it's
Because these
working.
pieces, yeah, yep,
Yes. Now
yep,
we get to go to the next one. You're actually doing great. And he's asking us to remember that because that's part of deception. It's like if you picture the infection eating at our brain, eating our brain tissue,
right.
it causes a lot of forgetfulness, which is like, I can't remember the progress I made. I can't remember how bad I used to be. So now I just think I'm bad all the time. But it's like, oh, a year ago, oh, I was way worse. Oh, I am making progress. So he's
Right.
asking us to remember. And there's so many scriptures. If you just chat GPT, scriptures on remembering, they're
Mm.
everywhere. It's like that's one of his commandments. Remember my word. Remember what I've told you. Remember me. Remember where you've come from out of Egypt. Remember where you're going. Remember the patient in the hospital, the septic shock. If you remember that we're in the state of septic shock, you're going to take different actions than if you think you have strep throat.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
remember the severity of where we are. Remember the progress that we're making. Remember who is the great physician. How many of us forget who is the great physician when we're swimming in deception, fear based thoughts? Um, if I know and have faith, genuine faith, I can feel it and I receive it and I believe it because it's my choice that he is my great physician. Do I really have questions of whether this is going to work for me or not? So he's saying, remember
Yeah.
me, remember me, remember me. Don't forget me in the throes of the things of this world. That's why so many of the scriptures says, put your eyes on the things above, put your mind on the things above, not on the things of this world, because we will forget him. He's asking us to remember him, because when we do, I know for me, my love for him and remembering him is like, oh yeah, like it's really you and you're really there and this is real and it's working and I can feel your love. Okay, I'm good.
Maybe maybe that's part of why it's a lamp to your feet and a light to your path. Maybe I always thought it was, maybe there's another fold for that. I always thought it was because, and this might be true at the same time, that it's not a 5,000 lumen flashlight to your feet and a spotlight that's going to light up the next 10 years of your life, the 10 miles of the path. I always thought, well, because God knew that we couldn't handle it.
Mm.
But maybe it's more along these lines of, you know, I, does that, am I, I just
Keep
lost my
going.
train of thought. But
Oh, okay, well that's fine.
is
I'm
it,
curious about that. If it pops up, let me know.
because you were saying, what were you talking about? You were saying that popped into my head because of what you were saying
If you
about,
remember me, then I feel his love and I know I'm going to be okay.
maybe it's because you oh, the distractions. Maybe if you had more light lighting up more of your environment, you'd see more of the distractions. Maybe that's like a dual, like parallel meaning of it. Like, no, 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 focus here. I want you to focus here. You
Yep.
know, not everywhere. You
Yes.
can't handle everywhere. You
Yep.
handle this.
Totally.
And let me walk you through this, and then we'll go to the
Yes.
next thing that the lamp lights up in the next few steps. Right.
Yes.
So,
Very
yeah.
true. And thank you for hearing that and speaking it. I can't tell you countless hours where he has been telling me, focus on me. Nope, focus on me. Nope, focus on me. Nope, focus on me. Literally, focus on me, focus on me, focus. And I would have to just let go of all the things I wanted to focus on. Focus on me, be right here, feel my love. Focus on me. Countless hours of training my focus. It's like a muscle in your mind. Where are you focusing? And we do have lazy minds because so there's mind, body, spirit. They all need different kinds of procedures, mind, body, soul.
Right.
And so that's one for our minds where it's like, where do we choose to focus and can we hold that focus instead of being distracted, being caught up in what's happening, thinking of everything and just letting our mind run wild? It's like, you gotta rein that sucker in. You gotta train that dog. You gotta train that puppy,
Yeah.
right? It's like
Right.
focus, focus, focus. So that's really the key, is building that muscle of focus, because then we can keep that on him and he keeps in perfect peace those whose minds are fixed on him because they trust him. That's that faith piece, trusting him, having faith, and keeping our minds stayed on him. And if anything else enters, cool. I always like to say, well, in this process, it's going to be exposure or expansion. That's a double
Hmm.
thumbs up. Either what's going to come out of me is death, in which case I'm like, ooh, that's death. Cool. Let's get it out of me. Right. Or it's going to be life and him speaking, in which case I'm like, cool. He's moving in me. I'm receiving the transfusion. He's giving me instructions. He's lighting my path. I'm getting to bring him into other parts of my life. And then every new area of my life, it's like more expansion or more exposure.
Yeah.
Repeat the process. So it's kind of like how to get comfortable being a patient in septic shock. That's kind of challenging, but
Well, yeah.
getting
Yeah.
comfortable as we can with the process and accepting the reality of it. Okay, this is going to take a while. Okay. All right, this is just where we're at now. Okay, another surgery in the great physician's hands. He knows I'm ready for it. Bring it on. I'm going to focus on him. And that's how I be comfortable in the uncomfortable. Is, yeah, I still feel all the things. I'm very human. I'm very uncomfortable. But my comfort in the uncomfortableness is my focus on him and believing, receiving peace, love, truth, and allowing that to be my focus rather than fears, doubt, shame, pride, blah, just all of the stuff.
Right.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's our strategy.
Whew, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Yeah,
Amen.
that's yeah. Oh man, and like you said, simple, not always easy at first. So be patient with yourself and don't, because that can go bring you down a whole nother road. So yeah, be
Mhm.
be patient. No, this is not supposed to be. It's well, anything in this life is not always easy, but it's most things is simple. You
Yeah.
know. So yeah,
And it's like, is Jesus patient with me? Yes. Okay, good. Let Jesus be in me being patient with me.
there you
Because if
go.
there's something in me that's not being patient with me,
Yeah,
it's not him. It's deception. It's survival. It's wounding from our childhood. It's lack of worthiness. It's
right.
feeling not good enough. It's all of that. So
Yeah,
again, it's like, cool. If not patience comes up, give it. I don't choose you. I choose love. Guess what? Love is patient. Love is kind, right?
exactly.
And we can learn more about what love
Exactly.
is. Great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah.
You're
Thank you. Man, yeah, that's a lot. It's a lot, but it's good. It's good. And so if you're feeling that was a lot, reach out. We'll talk. It's good. It's all good. So yeah, no matter where you're watching, comment. We'll get you squared away. We'll get you connected with Michelle if we need to. That's even better. Yeah. Don't connect with me if you have questions about this stuff. I only know enough to be dangerous. Michelle knows more. She's obviously the one to talk to. So yes, that's what these QR codes. I keep popping these QR codes, kind of going back and forth, because they're all that's who you want to talk to. So yeah. So thank you, Michelle. Appreciate it. Oh, always amazing. Always fun to have you here, and always amazing to learn and grow and you know learn something new every time. I swear. so
Yay.
oh, thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Oh man. Okay. I feel like I'm like worn out after some of the I'm tired now. I'm gonna go take a nap. That's a lot of information. So it's good. It's awesome. Seriously, if you guys reach out because what they do is incredible. I didn't say this during the episode, but even my CT scan looked different. The last ones I had because of some of this, work that we've been doing. So it is a real actual change that can happen. It's pretty cool. So definitely check it out, and and keep all this in mind. I mean, I know we've got new stuff this season, right? Like Jake with Cutco, like keep that in mind. Like especially if you're a business owner, oh man, can he hook you up with cool stuff for your clients? And it'll all benefit Hydro with Hope and NRG. Please reach out, man. I'm telling you, any business owner that's not part of NRG that at least doesn't come check it out, oh, you're missing out. You're missing out. It's amazing. So check it out, and then also, please, you know, everything that you transact with Cutco will benefit Hydro with Hope. This link here will also help us out. That is a giving link. You can give monthly or just one time. So all that to say, I am so thankful that you're here. Thank you so much, and join us for our next episode. The next time Michelle will be with us will be later in July. July 21st will be our next time with Michelle. Our next episode in general, will be July 10th. And so make sure you join us for that. And yeah, thank you for being here. We appreciate all of you. And have an amazing day. We'll see you next time.